Now, I looked at the coin itself, and you've got Donald Trump, obviously, but you've also got Cyrus the Great, King of Persia. And what he did was, in 587 BC, he freed or allowed the Jews to live in Jerusalem and build the temple. So there's reference to the original temple, or not temple, mount, within this coin. But I found it very strange that two Gentiles on the coin, and not any Ashkenazi Jew. So I thought that was very strange. Then I started looking into other things on the coin, because that's kind of what I do. I don't watch Bake Off. You've got the lion and you've got the eagle, and it rattled me for a little while, and I couldn't quite think, why am I seeing that? And then I looked further and deeper into it, and then it came to me. There's a religious text within Daniel 7:4, and I've got it here written. It says, "The first like a lion and had eagle's wings. It'll be held till the wings there were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and as a man's heart was given it." So it seems to refer to part of biblical code. This is not in the King James. That's not the King James version. There's King James 5th version is a polluted version of the Bible. It's the Jerusalem Bible is what you need to read. But I just found it very strange. Now, within Daniel 7, for those people that haven't read all the religious books and the Quran and the Torah, because I've read them all, it refers to the four beasts, and the four beasts that came from the sea, and Daniel sat and made judgment over them. And it's basically about Israel. We'll have four successive governments in its history, in its ruling, and I think it included Rome, and I think it's included the Nazis, and I think it now includes America. And it's all about the fourth ruling. And then the king of Babylon, according to this scripture, will come and rule the earth. And the final beast with 10 horns will be revealed. Now, the 10 horns is quite important because it relates to something else that I saw. And let me just... Another coin. Now, this coin is the Abraham Accord peace coin. It's the coin to join the Jews and the Muslims together in peace. Now, this coin really shocked me when I started looking into it in esoteric terms. If you break back the language, you have Hebrew, you have Arabic, and you also have English. But it actually represents the word peace 11 times on that coin, front and rear, when I counted them up. So 11 times for peace. I thought that was really strange, and then I did some more digging. And in 1 Thessalonians 5:3, there's a warning. And this is what it says in the translation, and this is in all Bibles, generally exactly the same as this. When they say peace and safety, then sudden shadow destruction comes upon them as labour pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. So this coin, I don't think is about peace. I think this coin is a notification to us. I think they're telling us. So let's look at the coin itself. If you look to the left of the screen, you'll see a single star. Oh, let me go back. You'll see a single star. Now, the single star on itself seems quite strange, but as you go back down through the coin and count all the other stars, there's 10. Remember I mentioned 10 horns earlier for the fourth dynasty to rule over Israel. Then the next thing we've got Saturn from Saturnia. And then the next thing we've got a dove with an olive branch in its mouth, which obviously means peace. And that's one of the 11 codes. Then we've got a what I can only presume is the craft used by Virgin to take people for space trips. And then we've got some satellites going on. And I found that quite interesting, given Elon Musk is putting these things up rapidly. Now, this coin is selling enormously fast, enormously quickly. In fact, they can't keep the mint up To the left of the satellite, you've then got binary numbers. I've broken back all the binary codes. It doesn't really say anything because you need a lot more numbers in a code length than you need more 8 and more than 8. So that was a really strange one. Moving off to the right, you've got a palm tree, but from a distance it kind of looks like a tower. And then you move down into the coin. Now, to my mind, nothing ever comes good with a sword. A sword is something that you can cause hurt, harm, or injury with. And it's to be precise, as a sword, it's a scimitar, isn't it? But as you move down into the coin, if you look to the right, you'll see communications, presumably internet and what have you. But then you'll see 2 vials. You'll see 2 syringes and a heartbeat. Now, to the syringe on the right, I kept looking at it, and then I realised there was 3 droplets coming out of it, and the syringe had been emptied. And those 3 droplets are falling onto a circuit board. Oof. The association of all those aspects within what's going on in terms of a visual conversation, I think is pretty unpleasant. Now, there's one thing that really disturbed me about the coin itself, and that is the dove. I'd seen a dove and a sword somewhere before, and I'd spent a week or so thinking. I couldn't quite get my head around it. Then one Thursday morning, I got up for work as usual at 5 o'clock, and I remembered this. If anyone doesn't know what this place is, this is Denver Airport. It's built in the 1990s, and it's near the Rocky Mountains. And that beautiful thing there that you'd want to put in your garden is called the Blue Mustang. And it's an interesting part of the artwork that runs throughout the airport. And the Blue Mustang, the locals don't like it. They call it Blucifer. But interestingly, the size of it, it's 32 feet, 2 inches tall, 322. These numbers now are becoming more and more frequent. It used to be every sort of 3 months I'd see them 10 years ago. Now, 5 years ago, it became more valuable. But now, at the moment, they're really pouring these numbers out on us. It's really becoming quite an issue in terms of they're sending the messages. If we look further down into, just trying to get the slide up, the Denver Airport, we've got that's called a grotesque. A lot of people call it a gargoyle. A gargoyle is something ecclesiastical in the design of the architecture, is usually on downpipes, and they used to gargle as the water went through them. But that's a grotesque. Interestingly, on that piece of sculpture, and this artwork goes throughout the Denver Airport, have a look at it. But this grotesque is actually coming out of the suitcase. The suitcase is unlocked, and it's coming out of the suitcase. Now, Denver Airport was put up by Freemasons. I've got friends that are Freemasons. The ones that I know, lovely people, no problem. I've got no problem with them, and vice versa. But it's put up by the Freemasons. But interestingly, on the stone of its commissioning, it says New World Airport. And we all know some of the references in regard to that. Mm-hmm. So let's go back for some of the other artwork. We've got a dead lemur, I don't know. We've got what looks like a dead child from wearing Germanic clothes by the looks of it. Generally unhappy children and a stuffed bird. And this runs throughout the airport. You've got swords, many swords wrapped up in different flags. American flag, Palestinian flag, Judaic flag. And the artwork continues to the point of, this is where I was going. The scimitar with a dove dead at the end of it. Now, if you look to the left of this wonderful piece of artwork, there's a woman with a child outside of a building, but the child's dead. And inside the building, there are people who are curled up. The message here is quite mixed. It's the sort of thing that I want to see as I'm about to get on an aircraft, but I'll leave that one with you for now. So the other things that are going on that I'm seeing, the Ouija boards. These these Ouija boards are being sold all over the world. Not my game, if you like, but I rang Poundland when I saw one of these on sale, and the response I got was, it's a game, but it's an idea-motor effect. And I thought, that's a really strange response to someone I've just called in a call centre. And ideo-motor is basically a game that the human body does itself. So there's no propellant issues or other esoteric issues in regard to these. But I just found it very interesting that when I did phone them, the answer was immediate. So let's spin through some other things quite quickly.